Good afternoon and welcome to Legal Access. Each and every Thursday at this time we get together to give you access to different aspects of the law. Today we're going to be talking about family law. So if you have any questions about divorce, separation, custody, maybe adoption, any of those questions we can answer for you here today on Legal Access. The phone number is on your screen. Give us a call. Don't be shy, but do not wait until the end of the show to try to get in, because a lot of times we might not be able to fit you in. So call now and we'll get you on the air as we talk about family law here today on Legal Access. The phone number there, 848-8080. Here on the panel today to answer your questions, first of all, from the McGuire Law Firm is Ian McGuire.
Good to see you, Dave.
To your left, welcome back to Trent Chambers.
Good to be here, Dave.
And also Jelon Derrick.
Good to be here.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Popular show, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we have two great guests. Jelon's been doing family court for a long time and does a great job with it. Her office is located in Conway on 4th Avenue. And we're so happy to have you back with us.
Thank you.
And of course, Trent's been on a number of times for criminal and DUIs.
Yeah, criminal DUI and
but,
do a little bit of family court as well.
He has a background in doing family court, and both ex-prosecutors, right? So,
Right.
We were just talking about the old days, the old times. But two excellent attorneys to answer our questions. If you have any, give us a call, 843-848-8080. That's 843-848-8080.
Oh yeah, give us a call here. Now, one of the things as far as divorce in South Carolina is concerned is that they force you to wait a year before you can actually get a divorce. Why do you think that the state thinks that it's necessary for them to step in and say, okay, we want you to get back together, so we're going to give you a year to reconcile before we allow you to finally get divorced?
I think you're right. They want you to stay together. The state wants you married.
Well, I think they have an interest in preserving the family. That's kind of where it came from. Let's preserve the family. Let's see if y'all can cool down and come back together. Now you have other, have contested grounds that you don't have to wait that year. The physical cruelty, habitual drunkenness, and adultery. So you got those, and they're pretty popular. Sometimes you don't have to wait, but it ends up being a year or more though, because of the court system. If it's contested, you're not going to get a divorce in South Carolina.
Right.
Statute says 90 days. You could
yeah,
do
but
it.
you're not
That
going to
does.
get
That's not going to work.
So you really end up the same, and you might even pay more because you're
unless you can come to an agreement. You can come to an agreement.
We go to
very
mediation,
quickly.
try to work it out, and come to an agreement. But yeah, anytime you got anything contested in South Carolina, I'd venture to say you're going to be year and a half more.
Wow. So, and mediations have gotten really popular in family court, right?
It's mandatory.
Mandatory, and it's wonderful. I think it resolves a lot of cases.
It can be. It can be wonderful. It can be a tool for just collecting information or harassing somebody on the other side.
But you have to do it.
But you got to do it. It's like your ticket. It's your pass to get into court to try the case.
So even if you just have a year to wait, it's still going to take a year and a half basically to actually get the divorce.
If you have a contested issue, I think is what Jelon's saying, because the court system's backed up, and if you have a long trial, something's very complicated, it's going to take a week or two to try. The court's not going to be able to work you in for.
Right, but what about the case where everybody agrees on everything, you just want to get a divorce?
Go to mediation, work it out.
Work it out, get it done, and if you still have to, you can get everything taken care of in an agreement.
Yeah.
And just live separate and apart, and then file for the divorce after the 1 year.
In that case, what you want to do is go in there with your agreement, get a legal separation, and ride on that. When your year comes up, just go back and
do it by submission now.
Yeah, then do it by submission, and it's fairly cheap to go back and get your divorce after you.
Our phone number is on your screen right now. Give us a call at 848-8080. We already got a couple of calls on the line, but we have plenty of time to get you on as well. Let's go to Longs first off. Linda is with us. Hi, Linda. Thanks for calling in. What's your question for the panel today?
848-8080. We already got a couple of calls.
And turn down your TV, Linda. Go ahead.
Oh, it is for me. Hi.
Hey, Linda.
My question is, I was married in 2000. I was married in 2021, December, and then almost immediately we separated. But he was supposed to be moving in my area back in a few months, but never did. About 2 years later, I learned that he remarried. The trick to this is it wasn't a sad thing because we married. We didn't marry for love. I'm just being honest.
Okay.
But he remarried, and he's an older man, and I didn't want to file charges. I tried to get divorced and learned that it's criminal because he committed polygamy in South Carolina. now I want to know I guess what to do. I've kind of ignored it for too long and considering marriage again. And since he remarried, is our marriage void?
So you want to be legally divorced and move on with your life?
Yes, ma'am. And his wife apparently clearly does not know we were ever married.
Well, Linda, you got a mess. I think Trent ought to answer that one.
I was
But I'm
gonna
tell
defer to you.
You got to undo something. You got to undo. Well, you're gonna probably have to file charges on him, and he's living in another state.
She might not be with us here anymore.
Well, here's the problem, because it sounded like she said that right after they got married, he moved.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She may not even have the requisite time period living in Horry County as husband and wife to him to even do anything in this county. Because she's got to be here a period of time, and he's got to be here a period of time, at least both of them together 3 months. And if they not, she may be going to wherever he's at in his happy second, third marriage, or whatever one it is. But that's going to be difficult. But I think you have to file, you could file here and just allege that he's married before you've
Right.
got the divorce.
But what if she didn't know that? What if she just said, we've been separated over a year, I'm just going to file for divorce, serve him, he doesn't show up, well, I guess now you know, is that the
Well,
problem?
now you can't tell your lawyer that, because now we know. So that's the problem. We can't know. I mean,
Right.
we can't collude to help somebody get divorced from somebody when maybe they weren't even married in the first place.
Okay.
The court might not would recognize that marriage. I don't know.
So she needs to sit
Get in
down
front
with
of
an
a judge.
attorney probably.
She needs to talk to somebody been around the block a lot of times.
Yeah, yeah.
And try to figure out, number one, where he's at and how to proceed. And she may have to use the police to do something.
Yeah. Linda, it sounds like you got a little bit of a complicated case on your hands here. Good luck and find yourself a good attorney. Let's go to James now. James is in Myrtle Beach. Hi, James. Thanks for hanging on. What's your question for the panel today?
Yeah, I got a question. I've got a piece of deeded property down here in Myrtle Beach, and I got my name and my deceased wife's name on it. It's a timeshare, and I need to find the best way to handle that. Can I just go to the courthouse and get a new deed, or do I need to get a lawyer?
That's really a probate.
probate question.
That's a probate. Yeah, I
do
don't
much of
do
that.
any probate.
You need to find a probate lawyer.
Yeah, and ask them, or what you could do is start by asking probate court, because those girls are real helpful down
They
there.
do have some forms there.
They, they'll talk to you and kind of guide you on how you need to do. I've dealt with them before. They're really
Yeah.
good at that.
Very
Chat with them
helpful, yeah.
first and see what they say, and then if they say you need a lawyer, they can tell you some of the probate attorneys in Conway or Horry County.
Right. James, good luck with your issue, and thanks for calling in. Our phone number is on your screen, 848-8080. We're talking about family law here today: divorce, separation, custody, adoption, all fair game. Now, going back to what Linda was saying a couple of minutes ago now, and it's just kind of a springboard off what you mentioned, Ian. We've had calls in the past when we've done family law that the spouse, usually the guy, has been gone for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years or more, and the person left behind has not seen them, but they want to officially get divorced even though they haven't been. What kind of process do you have to go through to divorce someone you haven't actually seen in the last decade or so?
You got to serve them.
Yeah, you got to find them.
You got to find them and serve
You got to find them
What
and
if you
serve them.
can't?
Well,
Then you
yeah,
get an order
that's
for
the-
publication and.
But you got to have some kind of idea. You got to try to serve
Try
them.
and serve them, yeah.
Yeah, but you got to know what state they're in, and that, check with relatives. That's what we've done before. Go check with relatives, see if you can run them down. Give us some kind of idea of where they are, and we'll try to serve them there. And if can't, we'll do it by publication.
Which
and
of course is you just get
Right.
a local paper and you
Yeah.
put it in there
Yeah.
for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From their last known address and all that. Yeah, so, okay.
It can be a mess, but you can do it. Because I think I had one that was separated 10 years. I said, "Well, Lord, we'll see." I think we got him divorced.
Well, we got a couple of calls that have been a little bit complicated here today, but regardless of how complicated your question is, we want to get you an answer here today. If it's about family law, give us a call. The number's on your screen, 848-8080. Going to take a quick little break right now. When we get back, we'll talk to you and have more issues we'll talk about here today on Legal Access. Welcome back to Legal Access. Our topic here today is family law. If you have any questions about divorce, separation, custody agreements, or adoptions, today is the day to get your questions answered absolutely free here today. Give us a call. On the panel here to answer your questions, we have Ian McGuire, also Trent Chambers and Jalon Derrick. So the number's on your screen, and Linda, who was our first caller a couple minutes ago, is back with us to kind of follow up. Hi, Linda. Thanks for calling back. What'd you need this time?
Hi, thank you so much for accepting it back. It accidentally hung up. But yes, I do know what state he's in. He's actually in Maine, and we were married in South Carolina. And they did really marry. And I'll be honest, we married. So if he died, I would be able to be taken care of. And so now him and his wife, well, of course, she will benefit from it. But the marriage isn't real, I don't believe, since ours was. And he committed polygamy, so that marriage is not real then, right?
I think it's probably, you'd have to get a court to determine that.
Right.
And the problem is you're messing with two different states. So South Carolina didn't have the information that he was already married here. So you're going to probably have to start back here trying to file something.
Did you, Linda, you said that you got married and then he left the state. Did you live in the same household?
Yeah, we did for about 2 months. Well, about 2 months, and then he went to visit his brother and ended up staying.
All right.
And he was going to rejoin me 5 months later when I moved back here towards the beach. And then he just lost contact. Then I learned about a year later Dad married. I assumed that's probably what he did, and it really didn't bother me other than I was kind of left. He was sending like $1,800 a month, and then that suddenly stopped. So that hurt me bad.
Right.
But you can't get divorced here.
And we're,
I think just about in any state, though, I think your question, the illegal marriage, the second marriage, is void from the beginning.
Right.
So it may
Right.
not be a valid marriage, but a court's going to have to determine.
A court's going to
And
determine.
it's probably going to be up there.
Not in South Carolina because
Right.
you got to be here for
Yeah.
at least 3 months, 3 years.
And I think from the first call, she really doesn't want to get him in trouble by,
don't think she has a
bringing
choice.
charges as far as bigamy is concerned. But,
I don't think she has a choice because once she takes it to court, if she doesn't do it, the judge is going to do it.
yeah.
Might refer it to law enforcement.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
All right, Linda, well, thanks for calling back, and we appreciate it. And again, good luck in your situation that you're in right now. Now, Trent, let's say, Trent, you and Jalon are married and you want to get divorced.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you're separating, you have to be separated for a year. Do you need to go to a lawyer and get a separation agreement and say, okay,
don't have to.
as of today, September, 19th, 2024, so that means
decide that
on September 19th, 2025, we can officially get divorced?
We don't have anything. Say we didn't buy a trailer, a dog, or a gun.
leased a car.
Or leased a car. Say we don't have anything. He kept his, I kept my stuff. Basically, you just go to court and say, look, we've been separated for a year, we want a divorce. We've both separated our property to our mutual
Right.
satisfaction.
You got your stuff, I got mine.
And we have
See
no
you later.
joint debt, so we just want a divorce. You can do that. You can do it on your own. You can get a lawyer to do it for you. I mean,
But that also means that the two of you cannot cohabitate even for one night under the same roof between now
well,
and
that's what
2025.
most of the judges say. Sometimes you'll catch a judge that'll let you do a little hanky-panky to get away with it, but most time they're just like, no, if you did that,
Yeah.
you got to start that year again.
Do you have to have notarized that said, okay, this is the day that we're separating, so that
No.
Testimony
No.
from
It's-
3 people, basically, the plaintiff, the
Yeah.
defendant, and a witness who states that they've known the people well enough that
Yeah.
would know if they've gotten back together. And
Right.
So if you're separated, you need to find a buddy and say, hey, write this date down because in about 1 year I'm going to bring you to court to testify
Well,
that we've
they
been...
probably just go find somebody in the local bar and use them that day.
Well,
I mean,
there
look
you
here. If they tell us, and we got to tell you whatever they tell us. I mean, we tell people they can't collude together to get
Right.
divorces. But, sometimes we don't know because we're not following them and looking at them. But sometimes I'm sure they do some of that. But most of the time they bring in like a mom or an aunt
Right.
or somebody that we knows they haven't been together. And usually they're mad at the other side and you can tell they've not been together.
The last thing on their mind.
That's right.
Now, one of the things I'm sure you guys are happy about that a couple of years ago, common law marriage was stricken from South Carolina's law books. You can no longer just cohabitate and hold yourself up as being married, which complicates everything between marriage and divorce as well. Because even if you're only common law marriage, you still have to go through a divorce process
That's
if you
true.
want to separate yourself from the other person.
Well, you have to get recognized
married.
back then.
First of all, they got
Before-
they got to
It
record.
still can happen. You have, if somebody gets a marriage license and then doesn't get married, but they live together, I think you could possibly
really?
have an argument.
I
there.
think there's some really tiny little bit of them that you can maybe verify. I haven't tried to do that because
Never seen
once
it.
they pretty much said
Right.
not doing it, I'm sure it's going to be very difficult.
Family law is our topic. The phone number is on your screen, 848-8080. Give us a call. We have plenty of time to get you on the air here. One of the questions we always get as far as grandparents are concerned, as far as divorce goes, there's a lot of grandparents that say, hey, I want to be able to see my grandchildren, but, we're separated here now. My kids are separated and the grandchildren are gone with the other kid that's not my kid in the fight here. So do grandparents have any right to be able to say, hey, I want to be at least to have some visitation with my grandkids?
Yes and no. If it's just a typical divorce, say me and Trent are getting divorced again. This time we got two really bad children. We neither one wants. But say one of our parents want to have something to do with it. Their visitation would be derivative of ours.
Right.
If I got every other weekend or Trent
But
got
if
every
Shalon
weekend.
was mean and didn't let her parents or my parents see the kids, that's a different story.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
They'd have to bring
But it's
everybody into court.
Really hard to get grandparents visitation. It's a lot easier to get custody for grandparents when the parents are bad. And that's what happens most of the time.
Right.
Right.
Most of what I do, and I did one this week, is I get custody for the grandparents of some child because people make it so easy.
Right.
They're drugging, they're drinking.
Right.
They're leaving the kid for 2 or 3 years with the grandparents and then come back and,
Right.
oh, that kid's big now, she can feed herself. Oh, I'll take her and go. Oh, no. Then the grandparents come in and try to get custody, and we do that a lot. A lot.
Speaking of custody, a lot of people assume that in a custody fight between a husband and a wife, that the wife is always going to get the upper hand as far as that's concerned. Is that the way in South Carolina anymore?
No, I represent a tremendous amount of men getting custody. And I'm looking at who's the better parent, who's the one that gave up the drugs, who's the one that's at home at night, who's taking care of them. And the court's going to what's in the best interest of the child. And there's a lot of men walking out of that courtroom with 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 children. I've got one that walked out the courtroom with 4 children, and only one of them was his. But nobody raised the issue,
Right.
and he took them to raise them, and you get them.
Yep, absolutely.
But he got custody of 4 children. But no, we can get custody for men.
Absolutely.
Tell you what, we're going to run to another break here real quick. When we get back, we'll have about 10 minutes left. Plenty of time to get you on the air and to answer your questions. Family law is our topic. Give us a call. The number's on your screen, 843-848-8080, right here on Legal Access. Family law is our topic here today on Legal Access. Welcome back. We still have time to get you on the air if you have any questions for our panel. Our panel today, Ian McGuire, also Trent Chambers and Jalon Derrick. I'm Dave Priest, but don't call and ask me any questions because I don't have a degree. I've just been doing this for a few years. Anyway, let's go back to the phones right now. Let's go to Conway. Kathy is on with us. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for hanging on through the break. What's your question today?
Yes, mine's on common law marriage. My boyfriend and I have been here 6 years, and they told us that we were considered married, but the only thing, we never signed any papers or anything about being married. So if we decide to break up, we don't have to go to court, do we?
You have trouble finding any kind of lawyer who's going to do the common law marriage thing now in South Carolina. There might be a few, but since they kind of threw that to the side, and you've got to be determined to be married. It's not just because, I think I've been living here, so I think I'm common law married. No, some judge has got to tell you this is a common law marriage, and now y'all can go for the divorce. So it's just not automatic.
Right.
And I think it's going to be real difficult for a court in South Carolina to determine that you're common law married. And I would think that it'd be more likely in the situation you got 3 kids, they got his last name, y'all been together and have shared the children and filed taxes on the children, and doing all the things that a married couple would do. So I think it would be difficult to say you're common law married.
And you'd have to hold yourself out, right?
Right.
You could
Right.
say, this is my wife,
Right.
and write it. And,
Well, it used to be that, if they filed taxes together and said
Right.
they were married.
Yeah,
lived
taxes, bank
together, then
statements.
We could say common law married, but
Yeah.
the Supreme Court came in and wiped all that out. And I think the exception is if you go and apply for a marriage license and then live together
Right.
but never get married, that they may be able to do it, but
So in their case, they've been together 6 years. 3 years ago maybe, they struck the common law marriage, but so it would only be like, anything only would be considered from that time to the time it was struck.
No, I'm not even gonna making a call on that because it is a bunch of different factors that determine if you're common law married, and they pretty much frown on it now. So I think you got to be talking about people together 15 years with 3 children and a bunch of assets. I think that it's got to be extremely complicated, and the court's got to determine that you're that
Right.
way.
So we hope you're happy. I hope you stay together.
Yeah.
But if you go your separate ways, I don't think you need any court intervention.
And we won't tell your boyfriend, so sorry about that. So Kathy, thanks for calling in. Hopefully everything is good with you and your boyfriend. But yeah, if you wanted to go your separate ways, like Ian said, I don't think you have to worry about getting a common law divorce, so you should be all right. Now, in a lot of movies and TV shows, you see whenever there's a custody dispute that they stick the kid up on the bench and say, "Okay, young man, who do you want to be with, your father or your mother?" Does that happen in real life?
does not.
I've had it happen.
Well, they put them in the judges' chambers on a video, right?
I've had it happen. When I was a teenage girl, and then I think I've had it one time that the judge, we did a motion for him to talk to, because she's a teenager, which I thought was why are we here anyway. I mean, I was kind of on the side that was going to win. I thought, so like, why are we here? If this girl says I want to live with mom and I'm representing I'm like, what are you doing? Who wants a teenager that doesn't want to live with you?
Yeah.
Number one, because that's going to be a problem. But, and the judge talked to her and just determined that she wanted to live with her mom, and he didn't see any reason why she should.
Right.
So, it wasn't that she was
Generally,
speaking.
no, but it can happen, and
Yeah.
it usually happens not in the courtroom, but in the judge's chamber.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
I did have a call that just came in. They couldn't hold to be on the air, but they were asking what kind of costs are involved with a legal separation, if that was.
Depends.
Yeah.
There's the lawyers charge, most of them start,
Depends on how many times you call my office.
they're probably going to start between 5,000 and 6,000, 7,000, and it depends. I mean, well, I talk, if we don't do a general, here's what everything costs, because if you coming in and you just got a house and 2 vehicles sitting in the yard and somebody's got a little retirement, I'm not going to take that as too complicated. But you got 2 businesses and you've got a house here and one in Jamaica, and then you got something. I'm calling that complicated, so it's going to cost more for us to handle it.
Hourly.
Plus, we have to get an expert,
Yeah.
maybe, to say the value of the business. I
Now,
mean,
everybody thinks about prenups as being like a New York or a Los Angeles kind of thing. Are prenuptial agreements, are they common at all in South
are.
Carolina or
Quite a
this
few.
area?
done.
Absolutely.
They're done a lot, yeah. So I don't run across them a lot, but I know some attorneys that do them and fix them, and it's really important that they're done, that they're prepared correctly on the front side, because if they're not, you're gonna have some real issues with them.
Only got about a minute left. How easy or difficult is it to change child support or alimony payments because of the change in how much money somebody's making?
That's the key. You have to show a change in circumstances from what was there prior, and
Right.
depending on how good the record
Right.
is and how well the order
Right.
was written or the agreement was written, depends on what could be a change in circumstances, because
Right.
some agreements you can just spell out what a change in circumstances might be.
Right. But you got an older man, and you know when you send his alimony when his 50s and 60s coming, 60 something's coming, and he's going to probably come back in and ask for reduction, and the courts will give it to him under certain circumstances now.
Right.
Because I've done that.
I tell you what, we've run out of time here for this week's show. We appreciate the phone calls and thanks for your viewership. If you have any questions about family law, you can email us right after the show and we'll answer you off the air. Our email address is legalaccess@wmbfnews.com. Next week when we get together at the same time, we're going to be talking about premises liability. If you've been hurt on somebody else's property and you want to know what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing, that's next week's show. In the meantime, I want to thank Ian McGuire, also Trent Chambers, Jalon Derrick. I'm Dave Priest. We'll see you again next week right here on Legal Access.
You may wish to consult a lawyer to obtain case-specific legal advice. Information regarding lawyers can be located online or by contacting the South Carolina Bar Lawyer Referral Service, toll-free at 1-800-868-2284. If you are currently represented by an attorney, you should direct all legal questions to your attorney. The nature of any legal issue may depend on a multitude of factors. Therefore, the information provided in this program is purposefully broad and does not constitute legal advice. Please contact